How would you feel about a ban of how would you feel questions on the sub? Remember these obnoxious questions that were really just veiled attempts to tell stories for karma? Reddit, did you ever have a time when X, Y, Z happened? I'll go first. It was a breath of fresh air when those got banned. Right now, I support the ban. Terry's too many questions that have an obvious answer, like how would you feel if we could treat all diseases and everyone gets $1 million in their local currency? It's always something super agreeable. Perhaps all the controversial questions like how would you feel if cancer patients battled it out as gladiators and the losers' bodies get used for scientific research, and you have to pay like way more in taxes to make it happen? Get downvoted into oblivion. How would you feel about insert popular opinion? https://www.reddit.com/AskReddit comments 9gx68 Loretta, would you feel about all that bans? #X200B. Yay, I agree with popular opinion. https://www.reddit.com/AskReddit comments 9gx68 Loretta, would you feel about all that bans? 67jng3 Item source share it medium web 2x #X200B. What a constructive thread. #X200B. https://www.reddit.com copy pasta comments before M0G4 Thanks for the gold kid stranger. I would feel pretty good. I'd feel great about it, if we also ban all the variants of girls guys of Reddit. What can I do say act change a think to increase or decrease my odds of having sex with you masquerading under 40 different permutations? I don't know, how would you feel about it? I would feel the irony. How would you feel if Danny DeVito and Keanu Reeves gave you $100 million but you had to be their best friend for life? XDDDDD edit. Thanks for the gold. Wow, my biggest Reddit post ever. I usually just downvote questions I don't like. People really beat the dead horse with this one, but a good question starts with how would you feel every so often. Or we could make Row what do you feel about and send all those questions over there. I'd sooner embrace a ban on your username as questions. God, what do we get, 20 of them a day? Apathetic. These questions don't bother me nearly as much as the annoying as duck hypothetical scenario writing prompts that are flooding the sub. Can we please ban the your username is how you die or your username is now your superpower? All of the your username mess. I hate how so many questions here are just setups for the same shitty punchline told a million different ways. I think the last one I saw was asking if you'd go without sex for 6 years for $1 million or something. You could guess the top replies without opening the thread. You've become the very thing you've sworn to destroy. Permaban everyone who asks, how would you feel if? Would you take a large sum of money for doing a trivial task like living WoW internet for a month? What are the most legendary Reddit posts? Girls dudes of Reddit, what does the opposite sex do that they don't know is creepy hot? What if, popular Reddit pandering opinion on politics here, was made mandatory? And every other question like that. ITD legitimately make AskReddit a decent sub again that doesn't get bogged down by awful karma whores and bots. Oh, there should be way more banned questions, of all sorts. Row would you feel feels abandoned. If all those posts moved there I'd be a happy man. Asking how would you feel to a bunch of strangers who tend to be more socially awkward, I'm with you guys 2DW, usually doesn't result in many interesting answers, so agree. Also the premises are usually so dumb. Great. All of the hypothetical questions are useless and no one is interested in what people answer. They try to think of the most impressive thing to say. Who knows how we would react or feel, or what we would do or say if it were actually happening in the moment. I'd like the option to block AskReddit and any other subs, Not even see them unless we chose to. Can we ban the "you are offered X number of dollars to accomplish X, Y, or Z" questions? It's fine if they're very open-ended. The one I saw earlier about Bob Ross making a TV show with Gordon Ramsay was absolutely stupid. The internet interprets censorship as damage and routes around it. The questions would just start appearing elsewhere. You have become the very thing you swore to destroy. I just want the "what screams X" questions to disappear for a while. I would rather ban the "if you had X amount of money what would you do" shit that get posted every few hours. Quite happy. Next level shit, take my silver. Error, circle reference. If you were offered $10 billion, but would have to give up posting, how would you feel? Posts, would you be able to do it? I would feel like a "how would you feel" should be banned because "how would you feel" questions always ask about how we feel like it's an argument. So I guess I would feel like how everyone else that feels like "how would you feel" questions should be banned. Let's ban free speech. Like I wouldn't be able to answer your recent post. Maybe we could have just one day a week for this? Like Sundays, just because Sundays are boring anyway and it could be nice to spice them up with a bit of entertaining but meaningless garbage. This is such a good question. How has no one asked this before? Agreed. How about you just ignore any questions you don't like? No need for a ban. Let the karma market decide. I feel like banning certain styles of question is not within the spirit of an open forum like Reddit. Good, original questions will be upvoted, others won't. Whether questions make it to the front page or not is reflective of the sentiment of the community at the time. What's with people wanting to ban things all the time? I have not come across these questions yet. Some I knew, they sound fascinating. If you don't like a topic, don't read about it. Just feels like more censorship bullshit for the sake of censorship bullshit. Ban those and ones that ask what people would do in bizarre, unrealistic scenarios. Yes please. Those threads are either phrased to generate a desired answer or propagate a giant circle jerk. I'm against all ban. If it's popular it's because of Redditors. Even if it's stupid. I am perfectly capable of ignoring all those questions. You could just downvote them and let the natural upvote versus downvote system work as intended. Whenever I post it, it never gets attention, and when someone else does it awards reign. Ban seems overkill. Just downvote them if you don't like seeing them. I wouldn't be happy. I like answering those kinds of questions and seeing everyone else's views. I don't like censorship on subs. If no one wants to answer it then they won't. Let people dictate what they want to see. Why don't we just have a different sub devoted to all those "how would you feel" questions? We could call it Roy for something like that. Edit. Wow, it already exists. Problem solved. Yes please. I didn't even understand the question. I would feel. I feel mildly outraged. Women of Reddit, how would you feel about a ban of "how would you feel" questions on the sub? Would you accept absurd amount of money, but you have to minor inconvenience? I'm so sick of those questions. I don't support the ban because it's still a question on a question sub. But if you all don't like seeing these posts then don't upvote them. I'm getting tired of seeing how would you feel on a ban threads lets the conversation be open and allow people to upvote and downvote. If these threads are getting popular with upvotes, then the community clearly wants it. Isn't that the whole point? Add to the ban, commonly reposted questions. Would make AskReddit a little more interesting. I see what you're doing here, this is some meta shit bro. Don't think you're gonna get away with this. I'll find where you live, go on your Wi-Fi, and upvote your post. No. Banning everything you don't like isn't a good way to go about things. You have to convince people to direct their support elsewhere. Only reason those questions get popular are because people upvote them. I don't know, it really depends on whether or not it's a dumb question. If it's a how would you feel post on something genuinely interesting, thought-provoking or morally diverse, I think it's really good. But there are a lot of crappy posts like how would you feel if you won 1 million on a Sunday? I feel like the simple change to how would you feel if you got $1 million but your dog died when you got it? Still a stupid question, but at least it adds some sort of moral dilemma and thought provocation.